Kitty cats, where are you today? Kitty cats, pussy cats, where are you? Are you under the bed? No, it's too small, it's not deep enough. Are you under here? No. How about hiding under my bed? No. Where have the cats gone? Who let the cats out? I have no clue. Well, looks like everyone's safe then, most likely. So, welcome if you're currently here. Don't worry, I will do another introduction once I head on around the bed. Let's get that away from me. Batman top you can't see because it's too dark, just like me. So, welcome if you're currently here. It actually does show, that's good. Welcome if you're currently here in the live chat, okay, welcome. This is a Dylan Rounds video, right? We're locking back on in, like how I said, and we're gonna dissect bit by bit these different things. At a cost, the videos may be somewhat shorter, but I think it's important to break down these things and topics so you don't do like a long 2-3 hour video and then get lost in it. You know, other people make the mistake of doing that. I'm not. Okay. So, what are we looking at today? Let me just adjust this. I think first of all, what I need to highlight is pretty good behavior from last night from most people. As for any resistance, there is only one individual, some person from the UK. As for in the past, there was another couple or so from the UK saying I need to get help, and then some Scottish guy in the past saying I need to jump out the window or something. So you kind of see a pattern, okay? America, fucking rescue me right now. You know, it's a good thing my face isn't too oily. But then again, fuck me, actually, yeah. I wish my face was really oily, because if it was, it would mean the US would invade me for their oil. So take me away, man. Take me hostage from the UK, man. Do it right now. Or maybe we can do it the easier way. Cleo, get your wand out and teleport me somewhere, okay? But the positive news is, and it both applies to Maria and it also applies to my demonstration. It all links. Remember when I set up that defense mechanism? You know, we do things differently this time round, okay? Remember the neck and the chin, how I said it was like a cat scratching post? So all the cats, the kittens, any of them present, could scratch away, claw down my endless, towering, thick neck, you know, to exert any negative energy, any frustration in whatever way, you know, if it's built up, strained, whatever. Well, good behavior last night. Successful. And you look at the neck area, not as much hair this time. So that means the cats must have been very busy last night, clawing away, scratching that hair. But don't worry, it regrows back. So kitty cats, don't worry. Playtime again next time round. See, it's all under control. Now, what is not under control? the changes of behavior, the changes of heart from certain individuals, right? Now, how are we going to do this? Well, I think what we need to do, we're going to be taking a look at Ty Corbin and his latest news around the Dylan Rouse case and the search for Dylan, okay? I've made some notes from Ty's recent video, and I think before that video was uploaded, Ty showed up on Jim Terry's live stream, did a call-in, said what was happening, and some other additional thing. I'll mention the additional thing now, just before I forget. They're talking about some, is it LiDAR? I can't remember how it's spelt or the abbreviation, but they were talking about a plane and the cost of it. Is it $1,500 to fly out there in the sky and scan or take photos, satellite imagery? Some of you will know about that. For other people who aren't quite as informed about it, if anyone is in the chat right now and has more knowledge about that, feel free to share that with the people that don't know as much. I just catched it very briefly when I was doing some other stuff, okay? But supposedly a plane has been flying over Candice Cooley's house, taking photos or scouting the area of some sort. Is that fully true? I said I only just briefly looked at the video. If it is the case, seems a bit weird, right? Is Candice Cooley aware, or is she completely unaware? And what's the aim of it? Is it because there's some kind of shifting suspicion that maybe Dylan, his disappearance is linked with Candice Cooley, that Candice Cooley has killed Dylan or got someone else to kill Dylan? Yes, we are going in very sharp and abrupt all of a sudden, but this video, the theme of it and what we're talking about is, you know, the theme of abruptness, change. And what I will say is predictions are coming true once again. I made predictions in the past, and most of you will know in my past videos I was talking about how you'll get differing people, groups, families, all looking for Dylan, but they don't quite get on well with one another. They may have peace treaties, it may not last. I predicted that with Salty Pancakes and Jim Terry. We saw how that went, and even with Ty Corbin in the middle, it all broke down very quickly. But I also said that with time, it could get to the point where there's some kind of Mexican standoff, either in Montello, with all those guys, people, females, whoever, or in Lucin, right? You could have the Rounds or the Cooley family, then you could have some Montello locals coming over, you could have Lance's family, Ty's family, you know, that type, or grouping together, and it's just a standoff due to disagreements. You know, it does make you think that if something was found by the wrong person in the eyes of Candice Cooley, it could lead to more, you know, whining, okay? So, predictions seem to be unraveling with time, revealing themselves, right? I think what we need to look at first is Jim Terry, right? Because as I was saying, Ty Corbin appearing on Jim Terry's show. Might as well bring Jim Terry into the talk right now. We'll head on over now to a comment made by him. Okay, so I believe it was on the community tab where Jim posted a response. No, don't worry, it wasn't a response to the photo on screen right now. No. Oh my God, who's this guy though? Like, I'm sure I've seen him before, but I just can't quite make him out. You know, it's just so dark, the image. It's like a mystery person. You know, look at that muscle, look at that definition, look at the depth to it. There's so much behind them. Wow. Oh my God, there's another one there. Whoa, look at those traps. Wow. Anyways, less of that shit, okay? This was the photo by me, the death dealer, amongst the woods. No, I did not see Indiana anywhere. She must have been hiding very, very well. Congratulations, Indiana, for being successful in hide and seek. You live another day. But we go to the comment section. Obviously, Joseph has shown up there. Shout out to Joseph. You know, why don't we do shout outs on the spot? Shout outs to people that are probably already watching right now, such as Linda. I still keep almost saying Linda Gushing, but it's Linda Cushing. Oh my God, will it ever be erased from my memory? I don't know. We got Missing Remote. Shout out to him for his presence recently and his presence in the past with the odd super chat. I appreciate it. We've also got Exploring Abandoned Mines in Unusual Places. It's good of him to, pop in here and there on my channel. That's good. And then we get, Christy. Sorry for forgetting you. Christy with the ghost emoji. Yeah. Anyway, Jim Terry did have something to say, or Mr. X, depending who was commenting at the time, with my photo saying, Mr. X, rip off. Yeah. Yeah. Jim Terry. Can't believe you just said that. Jim Terry, you saying it's a rip off? Rip off? Ain't ripping anything off today, man. It's under control. You see that clothing? It's glued on. It ain't going nowhere. Jim Terry, if you was paying attention, you would have seen Mr. X trip over a tree stump, fall over, do a commando roll, get back up, and his hat never even fell off. Huh? How many times did that happen to Mr. X? How many times did his hat blow off in the wind? I'm sure it happened many times, man. But this Mr. X, it's glued on. Gorilla Glue. Where did the Gorilla Glue come from? Fucking Gorilla Jack from South Africa. This is what I mean. We got a whole line distribution set up. What I will say, and I did respond back in fairness, was it is from wish.com, right? Obviously, wish.com isn't always the best of items, but it tends to be a knockoff of a real thing. And, how could I reach the god tier status of the real Mr. X, man? Never going to compete with him. No way. Now, can I do a Jim Terry voice? I don't think I can. No, I can't. No, I don't have that tone. Maybe if I practice someday, but then again, I'll probably drive all the viewers away from my channel indirectly because they're like, oh no, we don't want to hear that voice. Right, don't worry, I won't do it. But Jim Terry did respond back, and obviously it's all in capital letters. That's his style when it comes to breaking news, man. And he basically said, you hear the bombshell info I released of the case? I'm still 100% on this case. Might be time for you to take note. Okay. What's he talking about with the bombshell info I released? What information? Okay, when looking at his channel, yes, he uploaded a video or something like a day ago or so, and that's when Corbin came on, called in, said what he had to say. Is that what Jim Terry is talking about? Because I did leave a question down below, but obviously Jim Terry didn't respond because Jim Terry is a busy man with a big plan, okay? So with that in mind, it's just left guessing. People in chat right now might probably know what Jim Terry is talking about. He says, I'm still 100% on this case. I mean, okay, in a way that's kind of good. It's just yet a bit more noise on the case, right? Because in recent time, I started appearing as more of a one-man army, in a sense, when covering the Dylan Brown's case. But, some people are returning back. That can help in certain ways. Obviously, I know people might not see that or acknowledge it, but, we'll just see how things go, right? With Ty coming on to Jim Terry's live streams, there must be some kind of neutrality between the two because, with time it's kind of been back and forth, whether it be with Jim Terry or mainly Salty Pancakes. I think that's where the main issue was at, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, have Jim Terry and Ty Corbin always been on good terms, or was there a slight bit of disagreements in the past? I'm not quite sure because I mainly just heard it with the whole Kurt Wadsworth, Salty Pancakes and Ty Corbin situation. And you know what, if I haven't acknowledged it already, as we do go along in this video and we talk things through, read out bits of information, feel free to share your own thoughts and opinions, okay? If Ty Corbin is in the live chat right now, welcome. If you have anything to say, share, or got a question, whatever it may be, feel free to do that in the live chat. Okay. But yeah, Jim Terry's advising me to take notes. Fucking hell, don't worry, man. I've got a fucking pile of A4 sheet paper. It's pure, it's white, it's clean. There's no fucking skid marks on those sheets of paper like the sheets in fucking Motel 6. Don't worry, man. I've got endless amount of ink to write on. Me notes left, right, and centre, man. But this is the thing. As for notes, do I really make many notes like other people do? Hell no. The only time I make notes is if I'm watching a long interview video and I do bullet points as prompts. I can't sit there and watch a 5-10 minute plus long video and then analyse from start to finish unless I played the video so far in, paused it, talked, played more, paused it, talked. But then it would get too messy there and the editing would be kind of awkward. Though it is doable when it comes to reading out text, when it comes out to the Find Dylan Round's Facebook post, the articles, news ones online, because you can read up to a certain bullet point and then analyse and then go from where you left off. So that's how it works with me. And as you know, most videos I make, which is majority of them, I don't really use a script, right? I know a lot of people will use a script. Some people type it on a bloody laptop. Some people end up doing that so then they can also copy and paste it in the subtitles and the whole translation thing. But that's only if you've got a script. Because if you haven't, you've got to type it up manually. And who the fuck is going to type it up manually? No one. Definitely not. So, yeah, that's what Jim Terry has had to say. Let me know your reactions in the live chat right now. Are you happy? Let's do a poll right now. Are you happy or hopeful that Jim Terry is returning and focusing 100% on this case at the moment or not? Feel free to vote now. Will we get rats in the chat tonight? Well, I don't know, but if we do, there's many different implementations of crowd control. Where's my belt at? You know what I'm saying? So, I think what we should do now is move on to the keynotes, right, of what Ty Corbin has said. Now, just as a quick reminder, you know, if you want to check out Ty's personal video about this so you can see him visually as he talks, feel free to do so. I can provide a link in the chat right now or down below in the comment section and you can watch it after watching my video, okay? I'm aware that not everyone may be aware that Ty Corbin actually has a YouTube channel, right? He has uploaded some videos with time, which is good, provides a different point of view, considering the split between Ty and Lance when searching in recent time. So yeah, feel free to look on over there. But I'm just going to highlight the key points that were mentioned from that video. Why? Because I want to give my opinions and see if there's any additional stuff I can add on, right? So the first key bullet point is Ty said, Les. I say it as Les. I think Americans and other people say the name Les. L-E-S, okay? I thought I'd just give a very quick vocabulary language class on the spot, okay? Before people start, you know, saying, oh, did you just say fairies? Did you just say candy? Yeah, candy? You want fucking candy now, boy? No. No, not yet. Now, oh, do you know what? That was actually a very silly maneuver, that, because when I whipped myself down below. I went like that, and now I feel a dull ache. Oh, God, that's uncomfortable, that. Let me just stand for a second. Well, not completely. Oh, this is a bit uncomfortable now. But it's not that bad because I have had a ball kicked at me full force and I didn't really react. Don't worry, there are things present, but I guess it's just a higher pain tolerance. But basically, not scientifically, but if you want an on-the-spot example of how it feels like if you do get whacked in the wrong area. It's a dull ache. So do you know when you get stomach ache? Okay, when you get stomach ache and you can feel it in that area, it's basically like that, but just below the stomach down there, okay? And it slowly rises up, okay? So there's a little biology class. Wow, we're going through all the classes today, aren't we? And I actually recovered quicker this time, so that's kind of a positive, that. So, you know, if Maria starts pistol whipping all over the place or kicking my ass, ain't gonna work. Invulnerable, okay? But where are we at now? I forgot. So the first key bullet point from what Ty had to say most recently is that he, Ty Corbin, and Les Nuttall, the brother of Scott Nuttall, are returning back to Lucin. Why return? Well, Ty Corbin has been present in Lucin in the past, at the start with Lance. They're going back, okay? Does that make sense to you? The next point he mentioned was looking at mines and mine shafts, okay? So following that trend of what they've done in Montello, Nevada, nothing wrong with that. Keep the consistency up of a certain environment, an area. Tick them off the list. I mean, I don't know exactly how it will work. I mean, with bringing Les along, Les has gone inside and descended into mine shafts, as you would have seen in Scott Nuttall's videos. I assume that's why Les is tagging along and Ty maybe waiting on the outside or so, kind of similar with the format with what you used to do with Lance in the past. So I can understand that combination. And it's always helpful, though, to have someone on the outside or near to the outside whilst the other person goes in. Because if it goes wrong for one person, such as the person on the inside, the one on the outside can call for help or, you know, try and assist. So, you know, just little tiny details like that are useful. They did say that they're going to start closest to the grain shed, right? Now, I personally don't know how many mine shafts are out there or exactly where they're stationed at. I mean, you look at Bald Eagle Mountain on the Montello, Nevada side, and you can see the odd mine shaft due to the colouring, the angle. You actually see the shaft, or you see the conveyor belt, whatever the fuck you call it. I'm not a mining expert, obviously. I don't even play Minecraft, but you know when you can see a mine or a mine shaft. It's not always that easy, though, as the Kenny Veach case demonstrates. It was a brown little dot, right? It's hard, okay? I'm sure there'll probably be apps or some kind of website. I don't know if they're free of charge or if you've got to pay for it. That would be typical, right, wouldn't it? But if there was some kind of map, decent quality, somewhat up to date, kind of like Google Earth, and it showed the mine shafts and how they appear, that could be of use. Now, I guess one thing I have noticed is on Google Earth, I did type in mine or mine shaft, and really only 2 came up. And maybe I can show you as an example a bit later on in this video as we go on Google Earth, just to show and explain what I mean, right? Because I think obviously there's a lot of unmarked ones, and the ones that are marked, there's no photos to have a look at them, which is a bit odd. I thought someone would have visited them, right? It seems like more people have visited the Kenny Veach mine shaft in Nevada, which is even further out and more desolate compared to the bloody Lucin ones, from speaking of it in that sense, right? The main aim of why Ty is doing this, and I guess Les as well, is to double check. There's no harm in double checking. People have said that in the comments. I said that back at the start, and I also said it within the Kenny Veach case, whether it be checking a location out physically, boots on ground, or checking out previous news reports, articles, forums, comments, messages, whatever it may be, just to make sure nothing has been missed, right? When you're out there, you can only do and see so much at the time, and then you might return back afterwards and then notice something else which you didn't see the first time. Just like how if you went to a shop or if you went to a museum, it could be a big museum. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of different stands and cabinets and things on display, but you might be limited to time. Your own brain as well might shut off at some point, and then you don't look at everything. You return back a later day and you think, oh, look at that. Was that there last time? It probably was, but you just didn't have the time to look or focus. So it's kind of like that, right? And it is a double check, right? Because initially you had a volunteer exploration group. I don't know what gender, what age, where they were exactly from. They might have been locals or nearby within Utah, right? And I guess they reached out to Candice Cooley and said that they're going around all the different mine shafts in Lucin and ticking them off. And in the words of Candice Cooley, what was said originally in the past is that this volunteer group looked through every single one. There was only 2 that were not accessible. They didn't find anything. They did not find Dylan. Now, to what extent, did they search hard enough? Did they have the correct equipment? Was it a quick search, a deep forest search? I don't know. But this is where the double check comes in. There's no harm in going back and rechecking. But what is critical, and I don't think it will happen, but it is kind of necessary, but I kind of understand why it probably wouldn't work anyway. This volunteer group, it would be good if there was some kind of communication, whether it be coordinates, whether it be something like we've checked here, we've checked there, but we didn't go all the way in, or there was something loose down here, but we've not returned back since to investigate. Just like little bits of info or tips or advice or anything that could help. That level of communication would probably be useful between someone like Corbin, and this volunteer group. But where's this volunteer group at now? Did they even exist? I don't know. I've not seen any photos, not seen any videos, no articles, nothing. So how should I do this poll? So Candice Cooley was speaking on behalf of them, saying, yeah, they've been out there, they've searched, they didn't find anything. But is that true? Did they actually search out there? Where's this volunteer group? I think I'll just do it as a vague one. This volunteer group, does it really exist? Yes or no? Or did Candice Cooley make it up for whatever reason? Why would you make something like that up? Well, if you get somebody else, or supposedly someone else, to go and check the areas and say, there's nothing there, when there might actually be something there. If you're responsible for the person going missing, you don't want the wrong people coming along and then finding whoever, whatever, in a mine shaft, right? It would incriminate you. Your cover is blown, you get in trouble, etc. That's a dark alternative theory and aspect of looking at it, especially for those people that are somewhat suspicious of Candice Cooley. I know some people were saying that maybe Don called Candice to say the job was done. Maybe Candice called someone to secretly take out Dylan. All those other kinds of theories, and that only theories because there's not enough solid material to prove that point or suggest it. But in time, something could slant in a darker direction and there might be some evidence to reinforce it. It's just a matter of wait and see, okay? But yeah, this whole double check is fine. The reason why I said I can understand why, if they do exist, why there probably would be a breakdown in communication and that it wouldn't happen is, although time might not care about what Candice Cooley thinks, to be able to focus on doing what you're doing without any interference. If you were to reach out to this volunteer group, they might relay it onto Candice Cooley. Candice Cooley steps in, brings in an injunction or calls the police or whoever, whatever, and then they might get halted from doing what they're doing. So I can understand there's times where you've got to be quiet or at least keep your head down and just get on with what you want to focus on doing. That makes sense. I can imagine Corbin may not agree with what I've said there because he might just not care whatsoever and just goes on to doing it. But, they've already got experience with searching the mines and mine shafts, so they may not need additional tips, but you know, just in case it was like a pointer, right? Even for like the mines, the two that are closed off, filled in or whatever the situation may be, if they could just say to Ty, hey, look, these two, you know, you might need certain equipment to get rid of the stuff or to create an opening. I just think it would have helped, right? As for one of the mines or mine shafts, right, Ty said there's one near the, is it railroad tracks? Some kind of big one, and it's like 3 miles. I don't know if that's like the tunnels running under, maybe. The way I still see it though, and I'm being realistic, if there is a mine somewhere, how do I think Dylan would have been disposed? Would Dylan have been disposed in a mine or a mine shaft? Both can apply together, right? You can have a mine shaft up here and then a mine opening low down on the side of like a rock wall or something over here, and it kind of connects eventually. But I just think whether it be Jim Brenner or Don Hately, maybe Kurt Wadsworth or whoever other dodgy people are out there, if they were to dispose of Dylan, it would make more sense to dispose of Dylan somewhere where most people wouldn't go, or somewhere which isn't as accessible or appears dangerous, which psychologically puts people off from going in and exploring, right? So if you've got a mine entrance, horizontal, right, and you just walk on in, doesn't seem the type of style. But a mine shaft, one that's not been used for a long time, and it's effortless, right? Pull Dylan out the truck or somehow kick him, roll him on the ground. You don't even have to pick him up or kind of just roll him, and then he just rolls over into the hole like that. Not much energy exerted, right? I understand that the suspect, whoever it may be, or the suspects could have been somewhat lazy, right? That's why I'm taking it in mind. It's more likely disposed into a mine shaft than dragged into a mine entrance, right? So I guess we'll just see how things go there. One question I do say, how do I word it? This is a question directed to Ty Corbin. If you're present right now, feel free to answer it, okay? So when you check all these different mines and mine shafts out, once you've finished, do you do anything to tick it off the list? Do you have a checkboard? Do you have some kind of GPS tracker? Do you have some kind of projects on Google Earth? Or do you tie it with a red, pink, purple ribbon to say you've searched it? How do you go about that once you've checked out an area, right? Is there a method or not? And as well, although you may not be cooperating with Lance at this moment in time, feel free to answer this, Ty. Okay, you ready? Is Lance aware of your current direction and, you know, thoughts of your next moves ahead? The only reason why I say that is because I remember Lance on his videos responding back to someone saying, oh yeah, and Ty keeps taking Scott or Les to all these places I've already searched. You know, I just sensed it in that tone of voice. So although not searching at the same time, is there some kind of cooperation and communication going on behind the scenes? So, you know, it's not on like, you know, you want consistency, you want a flow in some way, right? Let me know if you answer any of those questions down below, okay? Anything else? Yeah, so it's kind of like a quote this from Ty. Ty said he's had a change of heart with Candice. Is that a surprise? Not really, due to how Candice has responded and how she's talked about Lance and Ty. I mean, depending who you are, right? Most people that would come across Lance and Ty, you know, with Lance having his family, looking out for one another, where they're stationed at, where they're living, recording parts of daily life and working on this or working on that, farming, whatever, exploring, hiking. It just seems like a normal, natural thing. The way they talk, the way they appear, their behaviour, their body language, it looks all nicey-nicey. And that's what most people will probably think and feel. So then when you got someone like Candice coming on in, speaking negative of these people, it's natural for humans to react back, right? And it's the same vice versa. You'll get different groups of supporters. You'll have the die-hard Candice Cooley supporters, mainly on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page. And then spread out, you'll get the Ty Corbin, Lance Kelly supporters, and then Salty Pancake supporters, and then some that support everyone. So that's just how it is, right? But obviously there can be internal conflicts and external conflicts, which then can lead to, like how I said, a Mexican standoff, which could happen in time, mainly in Lucin from the looks of it now. Why did I say Montello in the past? Well, just to answer that brief question, it was at the time when they were searching and investigating Brenner's burnt down trailer, and you had different people going there, and then you had some unknown people going there prodding the ground before the police got there. We never found out who that was. You heard that? Does anyone know? Leave your thoughts, because, and I'll bring it up again because it's not been answered, Lance and Kimber went there in the past, the first time recorded it, right? Contacted police, I think, on the live stream. Then, 2 days before the police did eventually come down to investigate, 2 days before that, Lance went down himself, found track marks of a vehicle, and also that the ground was prodded, and it was like some kind of metal bar which would have been used on a wheel of a vehicle laying on the ground. There was a presence, someone was there, but who and why? Is it normal? Is it coincidental? I don't know. If you know, leave a thought down below. But linking back to Ty having a change of heart and how Candice Cooley has described the likes of Ty or Lance as crazy guys, right? I can understand why. And Ty also said, with finding about recent things about Candice or something, it's made me think differently. Now, that could just well be what we've heard and seen ourselves, unless he's seen and heard more things going on behind the scenes. I'm not quite sure. If you know, leave a response down below. As far as what I've covered and documented within the case, Ty, if present, you know, is it what you've learned, is it to do with kind of like with what I've covered on my channel, or is there more deeper, darker things going on which can't be revealed but you know of? Feel free to leave a response down below, okay? Linking on, the whole going back and searching in Lucin, quoted by Ty, is, "We go where we want to go. Tough shit," right? Now, you can say that's a bit of a resistant line, stepping on over, but then again, what you got to acknowledge is Ty did balance it out and saying, we're not going on private property. So you're not really going against anything. You're not breaking any laws, right? Just by, one, searching for someone, but also, you know, searching in the correct areas, and you're not trespassing, right? And as we've seen in the past, when Lance and Ty were, I think, bordering on to Lucin, or even at Lucin Pond, is Lucin Pond publicly accessible? Let me know down below in the chat, because they were present there. I assume so, because the wash as well is nearby, so that would make sense. But I remember in the early days when you had the police presence and there was like the investigations going on, the supposed crime scene, and Lance and Ty were saying, as you can see over that way is where it's happening, but they didn't encroach, they didn't cross over, because obviously that's, I guess, is bordering onto trespassing. So you see levels of consistency there in how they handle things, right? I mean, aside from Candice Cooley criticising the bag in bones and how it was handled with, if you just put that example aside, you know, in the mindset of Candice Cooley, if you visualised being Candice Cooley for a second, okay, can you honestly think of any other examples where either Ty, Lance, or both together handled a search, a piece of evidence incorrectly? Aside from the bag and bones, has it ever happened any other time? Yes or no? That's what you got to ask yourself, right? So, yeah, I mean, with the attitude of, you know, we're going to keep on going, you could say stubborn but consistent, fulfilling a promise which was made to Justin, the father of Dylan Browns. That all makes sense. What we still don't know of, and I'm going to highlight it again because it's yet another point which was never followed up either by Candice Cooley either, was originally Justin, you know, acknowledged Ty and Lance for going out and searching, you know, appreciated them for doing that, okay? Justin was thankful, and that was in the early days. And I think this is tying in with what we saw on the Sun article when Lance appeared on it and answered questions with the whole food bank situation in Montello. Justin comes on down to try and find intel and see if anyone knows anything, and that's how Lance and Justin meet, start talking, etc., etc., and that's how relations are developed, right? But not the same with Candice, because Candice did not go down with Justin to the food bank at the time. So you could say a lack of proactivity there, or maybe Candice was just more busy or living further out. Take in mind, I personally don't know exactly where these people live because I've not really bothered searching, right? But if you know, maybe that could explain if there's a distance problem or she's more tied up with things or more responsibilities. I don't know. But I guess the same would apply to Justin as well, because he would be busy too, but he made it and he's been searching. And you got to also understand that in the early days, Justin was the one that did that stakeout for nearly 2 weeks in Montello or so, parked up, searching around, looking for Kurt and stuff. So you see the levels of and difference of proactivity between Justin and Candice. We'll do another poll right now. Okay, and I might add another option in as well. Who do you think is more proactive within finding Dylan in the whole case? Justin Rounds, Candice Cooley, neither / someone else? Feel free to vote right now. There's no harm in doing so. Okay. So, yeah. Ty did highlight that we may even go into the wash. Which wash? Most likely the one near Lucin Pond, but there are supposedly many other washes out there, and as I said, and I'll say it again, I don't know about the others because I've not seen them. They don't all seem to be listed, as you know. There's a couple, but it's the same with the mine shafts, right? Anything else? Refers back to the last interview. Yeah. So I don't know if Ty can correct me if there's anything wrong, but the way Ty Corbin referenced this point about Justin, it was almost like a little hint, dropping a hint, saying, just be more observant next time when you see certain things or certain behaviour. It might actually reveal more. It's one of those. So basically, in the video, Ty mentioned about the last interview with Candice and Justin, which I believe would have been the Heavy D one, which was some time ago now, right? When they were in those lawn chairs inside of the grain shed, as you remember. And Lance was referring to what Justin was saying about Justin having to go around looking for buried items on the land, I guess near the grain shed or near Dylan's farm. What's the whole reference of that? What's the backstory of that? Well, I'll tell you very quickly. It's to do with when Justin was in contact with Brenner. When Brenner called Justin at the time, Justin answered and spoke with him, right? And Brenner was basically shifting the blame onto Chase Venstra, the one responsible for Dylan going missing. He didn't directly say the name immediately, but did slip up down the line. And he said to Justin that you need to measure the distance or measure the time from going down this road to over here. I guess that's got something to do with maybe the alibi of Chase Venstra, or trying to reconstruct the events, the time, the pings, the dates, right, as it unfolded on the day maybe. And Brenner also said to Justin, which Justin highlighted in the Heavy D interview, that Brenner was saying how Dylan would often bury things on his farm, and you should probably go looking for them and search for those items buried. And it's like, why? You know, is it a hint? Is it a hint within a hint? When he says where Dylan would bury things and you'll find stuff, maybe that's literally meaning where Dylan has buried himself, but not literally. You know, little code words like that. Now, so that's like the backstory of what Ty is referring to with Justin going around looking for buried items. But it's just the way Ty worded it, saying, you know, you should listen out for stuff like that. And it's like, why do we need to listen out for it? Is it because it's an inside job? Is it because Justin is involved? Or is it because Brenner's dropping hints at meaning something else? You know what I'm saying? This is what I mean. Sometimes you do get cryptic behaviour. Aside from changes in behaviour, changes in one's heart, you do get people acting cryptic, saying cryptic stuff, being somewhat vague. It can happen. I've seen it within the Kenny Veach case, how people can be. People can be cryptic, making videos, visualising something, binary Morse codes to that extent, and even subliminal messages as well with flashing images. That's the depth people can go to, and probably much deeper as well, right? So initially, I guess in terms of Ty's attitude, the way he thinks about Candice now and how things have gone, it's about starting over from scratch. And you have seen a few people in the chat in recent time saying that as well. We need to start from scratch. We need to look at the beginning and see what we've missed. Can we clear up anything? Can we find anything that's been brushed over and all of that? No harm. But I will say one thing now, and I might as well bring it in. In recent time, before Candice Cooley did that Facebook post, I can understand a fresh start, right? A fresh start because it's been a cliffhanger. It's been quiet. It feels like a dead end, a brick wall. What's going to happen next? I don't know. I'm just stretching my body if you wonder why I've got my arms out. I'm not on a cross, okay? But with that recent interview by Facebook post by Candice Cooley, as I read out to you in one of my previous videos recently, make sure to check it out if you haven't, because it's kind of important, right? Candice Cooley was saying there are things going on behind the scenes we can't reveal at this moment in time. And she has said that several times in the past, and eventually it has led to some kind of development or some kind of evidence being found, right? So aside from all the inconsistencies with that particular line Candice Cooley says, there is some kind of result. So it's kind of promising and hopeful, isn't it, to hear something like that from Candice. But if you've got people starting from the beginning, right, a fresh start, could that interfere with the current flow with Candice Cooley and whatever's going on behind the scenes, right? Is that possible? I mean, when it's come to covering cases like me, when you look over something, or you might question one thing or a finding, you don't want to go too hard because you don't want to unravel all the progress made based off a little bit of suspicion or based off a little disagreement, right? It can, you know, it can go backwards, and it has happened in a way with the Kenny Veach case, and some people got annoyed and it caused a bit of tension. What's the best way of wording it? Well, the only example I can give, and it's not exactly an accurate one because it turned out to be misinformation, but basically it still followed the same steps and procedures. When it felt like the right people came into the Kenny Veach case, such as Gene Loskowski, a former search and rescue member who was present when looking for Kenny, coming out with all the intel, the data, the coordinates, the information. In the end, supposedly, he turned out to be a fraud. So it meant all that progress and points heading in a certain direction unraveled on themselves, and it was a waste of time. And it was like, oh, back to the start, here we go, right? So I don't know. Let's do another poll right now. Aside from what Ty Corbin thinks, because I know he doesn't really care, but I'll do a poll anyway. Do you think with the likes of Ty, Les, etc., going out there, starting from scratch, will that interfere with the current supposed progress made behind the scenes with what Candice Cooley has said in that recent Facebook post? Will one unravel the other, or could it strengthen and have a positive effect? What are your thoughts on that? I'll have to try and think of a poll, because it's going to be a piss take when it comes to trying to word it, because bear in mind, you got a 4 limit of votes. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know, right? That's an example. And with the text in the vote options, you've only got a limit of 20 characters, 20 letters or characters, okay? And with the question of the poll, you've got 100. So it's very limited. That's why sometimes it might be hard to understand the poll, but there's not much I can do about it because there is a limit, okay? So anything else we've missed? Questions? Okay, so this is what Ty Corbin also mentioned. He questions the resources and the lack of proactivity during summertime. And a few people have said it in different ways. Even on Salty Pancakes channel, how people were saying how, oh, all summer long we've been spending all this time talking and trying to solve the case, right? It's been going on for a while. And with the sudden boost, you could call it, of direct physical boots on ground action in recent time, with the Equisearch coming in, the K9 unit, Mob Crew Chris, the drones and all of that. It's been a positive, but as I said to you right then at the beginning of when it was happening, it's good, but is it slightly too late? Could it have been done much earlier? And I think from how most people are responding seems to be yes. Now, in Candice Cooley's defence, that sounds a bit weird saying that. Let's rechange it. From what Candice Cooley said at the time was, it was done now, it couldn't have been done earlier because we had to wait for the thumbs up, the green light by the LE. That's what she said. But other people think it could and it should have been done earlier. And I guess Ty Corbin is questioning it as well, thinking if these resources were used earlier, there might have been a higher successful chance of finding Dylan alive. If it was done earlier, then the weather would have been more appropriate and just easier to follow through. So I can understand that questioning. It seems as if, as time goes on, more people are starting to be wary of Candice Cooley. But what I also think, and I've made a prediction once again, and it seems to be happening, and I actually literally made this prediction a day ago, okay? And I said that, you remember when we were looking at the article last night, and then that person commented saying, oh, there's so many inconsistencies about the case, like with the family, the LE, the suspects, the environment, the pieces of evidence, switching and changing. And I said to you, yes, that's how it was at the time. But for most part of it, it's been cleared up. But there will be another wave of inconsistencies and things that will make people question themselves and question other people. We're seeing it once again right now with this whole search going on and the resources, right, being delayed almost. So, you know, and a person that questions it, could be numerous reasons. One person could think that maybe it's been delayed, so the chances of finding someone isn't as successful. And I will bring it up right now. I'm standing up because it's kind of like an important point. Basically, when it came to the Kenny Veach case, whilst a lot of people have been and were and still supportive of the ex-girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim lied about when Kenny Veach was reported to the police as missing. Sharon Pilgrim worded it something like 2 days, 1 to 2 days, she then reported Kenny as missing. But the reality is, and the actual facts speak, shared on from another Veach family member, right? It was actually 8 days later Kenny decided to be reported as missing. It took the girlfriend 8 days late to then think, oh, he's missing. Why would you leave it that long when you know they're not supposed to go out for that length of time? He was only supposed to be gone for 2 to 3 days, so why would you leave it 8 days? Possibly to make it as impossible to find the person alive, right? Drag it out as long as possible, so then by the time there is help, someone does go out and search, they're going to be long gone or dead. Could that apply to the Dylan Rounds case? Do we do another poll, or is it too much? I don't know. And I don't know how to word it. Should it be a vague post poll? Could it be worded as, do you think that certain people, family and / or LE, the way they've handled the case, the search for Dylan, delaying things, was it done in an innocent, explainable way, or was it done on purpose to ensure that Dylan, if found, would not be alive because of the length of time it's gone on for? Feel free to vote if you want to, okay? Is there anything else? Oh yeah. It wasn't really a rhetorical question, I don't think. Or it could be. But at the end of the video, what Ty Corbin did, he issued out the question towards anyone viewing, saying, if one of your family members or loved ones went missing, would you have an issue if someone like me, Ty, Lance, Les, Alan, Scott were searching for that missing person? Would you have an issue? Wouldn't you want as many people out there looking for them? And obviously most people will say, yes, we wouldn't have an issue. We would appreciate you searching for him or her, whoever it is, right? And yeah, I mean, it's just like common sense, right? If anyone shows up to try and search for someone, it's a positive, right? Most of the time it is a positive. That's all you can really say. Kind of like with the Kenny Veach case. The family didn't really do much. The family didn't go out searching, but all these random everyday people did. So see it as a positive, right? There's not much negative you can say about it, okay? So I think that rounds that part up of the video, okay? Just want to show you one other little observation as well. And then after that, we're just going to take a brief look at an extract summarised by Indiana from a recent Salty Pancakes live stream or something. I think it might have been with Kurt Wadsworth. We'll read through it because it could be a new interesting format to do on this channel. Analysing relayed messages. As it's summarised, it's more concise, less time consuming, and so on. So you can leave your thoughts down below later on to what you think about this method and if you want to see it more, and if the other person continues as well, relaying messages, okay? So let's move on now. So one small observation I noticed with Ty's recent videos is how he appears visually. I mean, people can, argue against, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the facial hair. I don't know if it's because of the hair, the style of it. But in a sense, arguably speaking, he appears younger looking in this photo, in this video, which is most recent. And to be honest, when I did see the thumbnail of his video and the way he was dressed, for some reason, I don't know, he looked like some kind of secret agent, or he was getting ready to go to a restaurant because of looking dressed smartly. Bit of a weird observation, but it's all about observations in a case, whether it applies to the person missing, the suspects, the people helping, whatever. Any observation is welcome, because that's all it is, simple observation. So let me know your thoughts down below. And I'm sure Kurt Wadsworth didn't step in and apply makeup. No. We're not going down that route. Definitely not. So yeah, that's it for the observation and the analysis of Ty Corbin and what he's had to say. Now, let's head on over to an interesting comment by Indiana, which was reposted. So here we are. Before we proceed onwards, shout out to Nella Bella for her comment. It was nice of them to say. It says, "Thank you very much. You're awesome, Raf. I hope know how much we appreciate you, our daily updates, and your silliness." So that's good of them. Oh, Cleo popped up as well. There you go. Hello, Cleo. So what does Indiana have to say? It's a long one. Uh-oh. Trouble. As we know, Indiana is known for telling some fairly long stories. In this case, it's more to do with kind of like highlighting what's been said elsewhere. So we're going to read through it, okay? If it's possible to analyse, we'll do so. If not, I'll just share it with you anyway, because not everybody checks back on my videos to check back on the new latest comments, right? So that's why you got to incorporate it into the new videos. So the what's the word you call it? The provenance of this information is from Salty Pancakes members only update with Kurt Wadsworth. And it states, Salty makes a lousy interviewer, but he admits to this. He is only a beginner. He brings in too many into the video chat. But this latest video wasn't so bad. We got to see Kurt by video call and Shack Lady made an appearance, so she's okay. And Brookie confirms her chats with Jim Brenner. Let's start with Brenner. He can't talk, can't give names. He knows he's being recorded, but he said enough to say he had his hands in the pot, but was only one among many. And they are looking in the wrong place for Dylan. Okay, so because my brain is slow at times to process, doesn't sound promising, that does it? I'll probably read back over that paragraph again just to try and internalise it, because bear in mind, this is all on the spot, right? So it's just the process of breaking it down. So this first paragraph, most of it is from Indiana's own thoughts, giving her opinion on what it's like, the video. Now, I personally don't know what's what, because I'm not a member on Pancake's channel. And Pancakes makes most, if not all, of his videos, mainly the live streams, private, locked to members. And you can internalise that as both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for him. Financially, he benefits in some way or another, whether it's used in different directions, who knows. But the other positive is to eliminate negative people from coming on in, right? Hence why they're redirected elsewhere, as we know. But the only negative thing is, this person can say this person can say that. Oh, that person appeared here and that person appeared there. That person's okay, that person isn't. This person's not revealing this or that, but this person has. And, it could well be the truth and it could well have happened. But absolutely, it's understandable why humans would deny it or not accept it or be like, I don't believe in it. Even if it did happen, because it's locked behind a paywall, like content in a video game. It's locked behind a paywall. It's not publicly accessible, under just normal videos. So if it's restricted in some way and it's not viewed by the majority of humans, then the majority of humans could be like, well, I've not seen it. I've not heard of it. Where is it? Prove it. Where is it? Come on, show me the video, show me the audio. And if people don't, because they can't, or they don't bother, it's like, well, it's only what other people are saying. You see, that's why when I do my videos, I don't restrict them, because restricting them just means alienating people. It appears as if I'm hiding something, right? If I start privatizing videos to certain members. Really, the only time I'd do a members only video if there was a members only update where I did a video saying, hi, so I'm creating new badges or new stickers or emojis or something like that. What else do you want visually? Do you have any ideas? And then it would be members only, just so it feels a bit more special for them, and that's like it. And then obviously, if other humans externally started whinging and whining there, then I'm in the right to say, you know what, close your mouth, okay? Be a good little boy or a good little girl, and shut up, man. If not, fucking join or get whipped. You see what I'm saying? Balance. Something most humans lack regarding certain aspects, not everything though, because other people make up for it elsewhere, okay? So, let me just try and look back over this. Bear in mind, you can talk about it in the chat if you can make more sense of it, right? So basically, Salty isn't great with interviews because he doesn't normally do it. That's understandable. You know, you've looked at Heavy D. Heavy D seems pretty good with interviews. Seems, you know, to have the right questions and how to ask them and how to order them as well. As for the bit about the Shack Lady making an appearance, if that's to do with recent time, that kind of ties in line. Shack Lady did respond back to my email, okay? Maybe some other people got one as well. There you go. Will I provide an update? Yeah, I'll probably do it brief. You know, it was a long email, so it's just better to summarize it, right? We don't have to go that deep because it's not really necessary. Just explain what's going on. Just brief update like I've done with certain viewers that have been absent and stuff along that lines, okay? So that's under control. Anything else? Brookie confirms her chats with Jim Brenner. Not Brookie again. Now that's the thing. Brookie, I think it was them. I'm not 100% sure. Let's be realistic. Supposedly, it might have been Brookie that tried repeatedly reporting me for privacy complaints, where in fact the actual information provided was of public access, publicly viewable, 100%. You get what I'm saying? Although it could well be somebody else, but then why would someone be defending Brookie's honour? A little bitch boy? I don't know. A friend? Family member? Who knows? But public information, public information. It was resolved. It was under control. You got that? So we'll see if anything else happens in the future, right? Some people like Brookie, other people don't. It's just one of those back and forth scenarios like with everyone else within the case. I will say one thing, fuck me. Was it on Bella V's live stream? I wasn't present live. I randomly clicked on a video or something like day after. And at one point it was just a load of screeching. Like, it's like, fuck me. Come on, gotta up these voices, man. You get all these people talking in their default monotone voice, and there's me talking in a different accent every day of the week. I had to ask you, can you do the German accent? Of course, yeah. Oh yes, of course. So we can make the apple pie. It'd be very nice. Or if you really don't want that, you can go to get the curry either, honey. That is exactly what you want. Or you know what? Don't worry, Wei Shen. I have you a pork bun. Long time no see, long life, long noodle. Oh, you're not ready for that. You want samurai warrior. Oh, arigato. Jinjuayo, shinjuru. Omayo. Oh, konnichiwa. Oh my god, senpai. Oh my god, this is what I mean. Built differently. You get what I'm saying? Let's continue reading, because whilst I can say I'm built differently, it's taken me a fucking long time to read through this. Stop waffling on, Andrew, you prick. Right, so Brookie's saying, Brenner, he can't talk, can't give names, he knows he's being recorded. Okay. What? He knows that Brookie is recording him, or that he knows he's being recorded by the prison. The jail, I mean. The jail. The guards. Which way round? But he said enough to say he had his hands in the pot, but was only one among many. They're looking in the wrong place. So it's as if you want to interpret it, Brenner is responsible in some way, but he's not the lone guy. There's others involved, which we've kind of assumed. But the way it's saying, we've all had our hands in the pot. Fuck me. Like multiple people killed Dylan on the spot, or multiple people disposed of Dylan. You know, which way round is it? Is it one person killed him and then the rest disposed of him? Or did they all gang up on him? I don't know. It depends. But, you know, Indiana can clear bits and bobs up along the way or afterwards, right? Let's continue reading. Oh my God, it's going to be a long one, isn't it? The problem of Ty. The question that was brought up. Dylan goes missing. Up pops Ty Corbin. We know he is a distant friend of the family, but has never met Dylan. Yet he is in every picture, in every story of Dylan. I think he is an informant, but who is he answering to? A little bit like Candice, he is leading a narrative and it's getting everyone nowhere. And as far as I know, he's not looked at the place Brenner is stating. I mean, you can't be looking at the place where Brenner's stating if you've not actually been in contact with Brenner, right? It's almost like someone saying to another person, right, Raf needs to go here, Raf needs to go there, Raf needs to look in that direction. Come on, Raf. And it's like, well, I don't even know who that person is, and that person isn't even directly talking to me about going here or going there. So, you know, unless Ty's received a call from Brenner, that's all I can think of, right? If Ty Corbin is present right now, feel free to respond back. The problem with Ty, that question. Distant friend of the family. Kinda, but not long term from what I know of. Possibly an informant. And Candice. I mean, if everyone was all in on it, then it just seems very wacky, to be honest. But it depends how wacky real events have happened, right? Let's go and read. Kurtz keeps asking why the house relating to Robert Aviles has not been searched yet. The LE team searched Robert's mother's house, but not Robert's own house. A stone unturned. Was it not Robert who told the police where to find Dylan's phone in Lucin Pond, with Ty being there when the phone was found? Red flag, I would say. I think this is a combination, though, of what Indiana witnessed in the live stream as well as her own thoughts, almost like entwined into one through these paragraphs, how they run. Okay, so try not get too confused, right? Okay. Kurt keeps asking why the house relating to Robert Aviles has not been searched yet. So Kurt seems adamant on that. Okay. Ellie team searched Robert's mother's house, yeah, but not Robert's own house, right? So it's like, well, why not do process of elimination? But to be honest, Kurt seems to have an agenda against Aviles from the beginning, right? The way it's been worded from Candice's own mouth, from, I guess, what Ty Corbin has said as well. Kurt Wadsworth, at the time of that $20,000 reward being announced by Justin Rounds, almost instantaneously, Kurt ends up trying to shift the blame onto Aviles and Chase Venstre just because, supposedly speaking, that Kurt dislikes those two guys as well as the general population of the area. So they can shift the blame onto those two guys. They get in trouble, they get arrested, they get taken away, and then it's good riddance to them. So it benefits the people and the locals. So is that the true motive, or is there a genuine reason to why they're going after Aviles? As for Ty Corbin is supposedly friends with Aviles, and Aviles was in jail around the time Dylan went missing, or just got out of jail, I think, whichever one it was. So it kind of writes him off, right? And I believe he passed his lie detector test as well, unlike some of the others. Interesting. What I did know was Dylan returned from Idaho with a new set of clothes on getting paid. So why not new boots? If it helps to why Brenner thought they were just a pair of old boots to get rid of. Even a simple bloke like Brenner understands fingerprints left on a pair of boots. He didn't care. Even said when asked, "We will find your DNA on the boots," answers yes. But he was also correct as to why he thought Dylan wouldn't be needing them anymore. So why do we not have the answer to just why? Brenner is happy in prison because he feels safe there. Oh, wow. Does he feel safe because he knows no one can get a hold of him, like Justin? Or does he feel safe because he's being looked after, he's getting food and all this? I mean, you would have thought to an extent, maybe at the beginning he wouldn't have been happy because of no alcohol, certain restrictions, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably living better now than what he was beforehand. And it's same with the UK. You, supposedly speaking, you go to prison, and some of the prisons are better than some of the houses in real life. Some of the prisons, or a couple of them at points, have an Xbox console inside of a prison. Yeah, good behaviour equals that. What? Don't quite add up, but neither does UK. No. We don't need to get into that. Okay. So, yeah, Dylan, not present at the time before, the whole missing situation, 28th, because, he's doing custom farming. And then on the way back, okay, he's got the new clothes, right? Did Candice Cooley ever mention that? Not from what I know of. But not buying any new boots. I guess it's... What's this? Why not new boots if it helps to why Brenner thought they were not just a pair of old boots? I don't know what point you're trying to get at there. But, Dylan's just awkward, or he thinks, well, the boots are perfectly fine or in decent condition, but the clothes aren't. It's one of those things. Just because you clear out your wardrobe or update it, get some new clothes, you might not always, do both upper and lower body, right? You might only just focus on one area. Or if it's for sentimental value, some kind of memento, you might just keep the old boots, even if they're slightly old, kind of worn. If they do the job, you might as well keep on to them. Just like if you've got a lucky pair of pants. I don't. I don't think Indiana does, considering she says she shits herself all the time. No offence, that's just what she said. Does anyone have any lucky pants? Or, well, it's not my position to say, but any other lucky parts? Oh, God, that just sounds even worse. Oh, why do I do this? This is what I mean. It gets to that point where anything I say could be interpreted in a dodgy way. I'm sorry. Anyway, I think we should carry on, right? Kurt does not like Don Hately being in the firing line and thinks we should leave him alone. Okay, so arguably hypocritical double standards that. So I keep saying supposedly, and the reason why I say that is because this is an extract summarised from the members-only video, so it may or may not be the truth. And I say that because I can't visually see it myself, right? You could say I'm an awkward bastard, but that's just how it is, okay? We've got to have a certain method and style and keep it consistent with the Kenny Veach case. That's exactly what I'm doing, okay? Regardless of resistance. But yes, Very hypocritical. So Kurt is basically defending Don Haley. Kurt doesn't like the mob mentality of people going after Don and questioning Don and asking what's he up to. Oh, is he suspicious? Oh, we need to investigate him. Oh, he should be taken in. Kurt does not like that. Why? Is Don Haley Kurt's friend? Is Kurt friends with Don Haley? Maybe. And the reason why I said it's double standards hypocritical is because Don is okay to almost like do like a witch hunt against Aviles and Chase Venstra and maybe some of the locals too. And Kurt was the first one to be calling the police or the family about them holding Dylan hostage, right? Oh, that's acceptable. And still questioning, oh yeah, Aviles' house needs investigating. Being really adamant on that. But the moment that same style and focus and concentration on someone is shifted towards another person who Kurt may like or is in neutral terms with, it doesn't apply there. So it's you allow one thing, but you won't allow the other. So that is basically double standards. If there is any additional points, any additional backstories or missing information that would justify Kurt's behaviour and attitude, then feel free to add it on down below. Okay, I'm just analysing from what I can see at this moment in time. Okay. But yeah, there's no harm in questioning Don Haley due to his dodgy behaviour. Suspicious behaviour equals questioning, right? Same with Candice Cooley. Sometimes a little bit dodgy, a little bit suspicious. Kurt also stated Heavy D Sparks was suspicious of Candice, so there's a statement for you. What, has Kurt contacted Heavy D Sparks? I mean, if Heavy D Sparks was really suspicious of Candice, is that why he tried asking as many questions as possible in the grain shed to try and get a response out of her? And if Heavy D Sparks was suspicious of Candice, then why did he increase the reward money? Was it to see if Candice would snatch that money off them? That it would be taken away and then they pocket it themselves and benefit financially? Is that another backstory, or is this just a load of BS? I mean, well, you got to take in mind, supposedly Kurt Wadsworth goes backwards and forwards when it comes to information from what other people have said. And yeah, I don't know if this is going to bring in a lot of resistance, but, we'll just see how it goes. I think between Candice and Ty are leading us all a merry dance in the wrong direction. Okay, interesting. I mean, if that truly was the case, that Candice and Ty are both in on it, then isn't that contradicted by what Ty Corbin has literally just said recently about Ty not giving a shit about what other people think, including Candice Cooley, and that if Candice Cooley doesn't want Ty to search, Ty's still going to search anyway. If they don't get on those two together, then why would they both independently be leading everyone else on if both don't like one another? You know what I'm saying? Are they, bit weird. If you are cooperating with someone else, a part of the family, right, and you both causing forms of misdirection towards anyone and everyone else that gets involved, it makes sense. Because you both of you, who are communicating with one another to cause the misdirection, benefiting in whichever way. Like the original person benefiting, keeping the heat level off, the external person benefiting because it might be being paid off. But if there's no attachment, no communication, nothing positive between the two, and they're separated, then it wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't be working together then. So, unless there's more lies elsewhere. Lance, loose cannon, has jumped on the bandwagon. I could see him finding Dylan's body for real, only to have LE totally ignore him, and it will be all his own fault. He's acting like a desperate man. He needs to give it up and leave it to the experts, and that includes his quest for a cadaver dog. Okay. Is this still coming from Indiana's opinion or from the actual stream itself? I mean, the bit where it says, I think between, that's her giving her opinion. I guess it's all a part of her opinion. Bear in mind, it's an opinion, right? Observation. Okay. Just take that in mind. Would I say Lance is a loose cannon? Personally, I've not had any negative experiences with him, so I can't really be suspicious of him. Has jumped on the bandwagon. I wouldn't say he's jumped on the bandwagon in terms of covering the Dylan Rounds case, because it was Justin that came across Lance at the food bank, and that's how they started talking, and there was, talk going on. Really, the only bandwagon part you could say, if you wanted to push it, is back in the past, Salty Pancakes was saying, oh yeah, I'm doing it, no money at all whatsoever. And then Salty Pancakes started adding, I guess, monetization on videos, membership, other maybe forms of money, donations, maybe a PayPal or something at one point, Cash App, all that stuff. And then you started seeing patterns of more people coming into the Dylan Rounds case and specifically activating all that on the spot. And then I think Lance, at one point, Lance was calling out the other people saying, oh yeah, like, look at all these guys turning on the monetization and benefiting and making money and charging people for this and that off a horrible outcome of a missing person. But then Lance jumped on the supposed bandwagon and turned on members only, joining members, super chats, turning them on, super thanks, turning them on. So yeah, you could say it's a bit of a bandwagon. You could also say it's a bit of two-faced behaviour, how some people would see it. Like, Pancakes said that. Pancakes was like, well, 1 minute you're not doing it, next minute you are. The time when you aren't doing it and criticising everyone else, and then you do it yourself, it's not exactly setting a good example. So, that back and forth bandwagon type behaviour, as well as being a bit two-faced. Yeah. I guess that can be acknowledged in a way. Do you think Lance is the loose cannon? I don't know. What's this one? Wade Shoop, Tom Hardy, Ed Harshberger, Robert Abeles, Chase Venstra, Don Hately, Jim Brenner, Candice Cooley, Kurt Wadsworth, to name a few. Who done it remains to be seen. What, are those the people up for suspects? I don't know who Wade Shoop is. Don't know who Tom Hardy is, aside from the actor. Ed Harshberger, yeah, I've heard of him, but don't know too much about him. Aviles, heard a bit about him and stuff. Chase Venstra, yeah, but he supposedly has an alibi. Don Hately, bit suspicious, right? Jim Brenner, yeah. Candice Cooley, still up and down. Kurt Wadsworth, yeah. I mean, leave your thoughts down below, of course. What's this? The FBI are on the job. If they are silent, there is a reason. Look at the Delphi murders. It took them 5.5 years to miss a statement from Alan stating he was there on that bridge that day. And if the same thing is happening here, then we may have no choice but to wait until someone joins all the dots. Chase Venstra, court date the 6th. The 6th of what? No idea. Oh yeah, okay. Well, it'll either be probably the 6th of December, which doesn't seem likely. Probably 6th of January. If Brenner's court date is delayed into January as well, then it's probably Venstra as well, and it'll be the gun charge, right? And what else? And someone should tell Kurt his 20 wives will also have the other so-called husbands and are sucking on their wallets. Excuse me. 2. More for you, Kurt. There are pure professionals in this game. Right, so because of how these paragraphs were constructed, it's kind of back and forth between giving an opinion and also relaying what's been said through the, that interview. Take in mind, even if it does seem abrupt, the language and the order of events and quite a bit of drama going on, bear in mind, this is like a summary, I guess, from Indiana based off the interview, which could be hours long. And as you know, in a space of 2, 3, 4 hours, how they tend to be, a lot is talked about. There's a lot of words, there's a lot of umming and ahhing, there's a lot of delays and music playing and this and that. So to summarize it in this amount, I'd say Indiana has done a good job. Whether I've missed something out or I've missed the overall picture of this paragraph and what it's all about, you can correct it down below. Bear in mind, as I said, this is on the spot, right? And most of this information is new to me. Could you call it information? Some of it rumours, maybe. Some of it opinion-based. Mini-Me replied... shout out to Mini-Me. You know, they've supposedly watched quite a few of my videos in the background, so that's good of them to do that. Mini-Me adds on to say, then you should know that Wade Shupp is and has been in jail prison for some time. Had not a... Is that the correct wording? Had nothing to do with this case. Okay. Well, if that's the case, fair enough. That clears up Wade Shupp. And as for Aviles, he was supposedly in jail too around about the time Dylan went missing, or was just coming out of jail. So he couldn't really have been responsible, right? And even if he was coming out on the day Dylan went missing or the day before, you wouldn't think Aviles would be that stupid to commit another crime as soon as coming out, right? So, yeah, you could say it's quite heavy, that, in a way. Is there anything else left to do? Yeah, we need to go on Google Earth quickly as to explain about the mines. Yeah. Okay, here we are once again on the maps. You look at the area, we know it's vast. You see a lot of rocks, you see a lot of patterns in the ground, potential rivers, springs, washes, ditches, trenches, pathways, roadways, dirt tracks, railroad tracks. There's a lot going on. Although it's very empty and it's a ghost town, there is still a lot of stuff to look at, in a sense, right? And when I said about mines, Lucin mine. Let's just type in mine near Lucin, Utah, okay? Lucin pit, natural feature. Lucin pit, supposedly coming up as a mine, okay? We zoom out, any more mines? Not at all. So Lucin pit, supposedly a mine, and the only one present that's marked. You get the idea that there are several unmarked, unless Google Earth just doesn't highlight actual mines and mine shafts, possibly externally an app which dedicates to located mines and maps may have that, unlike this, which would be disappointing, but just wanted to share that with you. Try and change it slightly. Mine shaft, put an S on so there's more. No, just Lucin pit, that's all it is. What about Montello? Montello NV, so we don't go off. Mine. Okay, so there seems to be a few more here. Where's Montello? Montello here, couple of mines. You got Lost Hope mine, Baker mine, Coppersite mine, Queen of the West mine, Durham mine, tongue twister, Jackson mines. So you get the idea. And for most part of it, there doesn't really seem to be photos. Well, there is one here, as you can see. Maybe we can do like a closer look at these. Let's just check them. No photo, just for a future video, okay? Baker mine, no photo, no photo. Oh, God, it's shit, isn't it? Right, we'll just go through the photos here. Why not? Because it's the only one present, get out of the way. So this is just an example, right? They don't all look like that, do they? You know, as we've seen in Lance's Ty's videos, some are just completely in the middle of nowhere. unmarked, some covered up, some hard to access, some very tight, narrow, so, and then others a bit more established like this. They come in different shapes and sizes. Okay. Does that go within? And then there's a drop down there with a ladder going into the ground. Private property, no trespassing. That's interesting. It seems a bit more established, this one. As you see with most of the mine shafts, Lucin have gone in recently and in the past, they didn't really come across signs which said keep out private property, right? Well, this one does. So that's a change for once. There you go, private property again, little shack or hut, whatever you call it. There's like a chute, I think you'd call it that. Some noise going on next door. My God, still. Yeah, there you go. I can't really comment too much on this because, like, what you see is what you see, right? Someone just visiting the area, right? Oh, okay. And then looking inside, I guess that's inside of there, or maybe inside of probably there, which then goes into the ground. As you see down there, dark, deep. Interesting. So that's just a little example to show you. And bear in mind, aside from these marked ones, there'll be many more, obviously. There might even be apps which highlight it better. But for me to personally look, it's not exactly practical, nor is it easy, right? Visually speaking, really, the only one that do stand out to me from looking down, that one, not that one. There we go. That one. The way it's structured, that's a mine, right? But you don't see them all looking like that. That was a more established mine shaft as well, right? Others are just holes in the ground with a ladder, and you're looking at it from an aerial viewpoint. You're not going to see it that clear. Was there any other things going on? My God, I'm locking on. Wow, look at me. There you go, the crate there. The digger down here, 2019 imagery, digging away, don't know why. And then this here. Can anyone confirm whether this location on screen coordinates are provided? Let me just move the screen slightly so you can actually see it. Yeah, there we go. So would you say this is a mine? Is this like a mine shaft here? Let me know, because it looks like it. Apologies if there's any background noise. Fucking piss me off when there's interruptions from fucking humans. Anyway, it does look like some kind of mine or shaft because there's depth to it in a sense. I may be wrong, but once again, just ask, do you know? Drop the coordinates one more time. Hopefully they do show up on the screen despite the whiteness. There you go. Yeah, not really received many coordinates of locations like this for mines, but you know, if Lance and Ty are doing what they're doing at the same time or different times, it can help, right? Is there anything else to mention? Schedules. What about schedules? So Cleo was talking about creating a schedule. Am I good with schedules? Maybe not. I guess all I say is Cleo is, as for a basic schedule, is you wake up in the morning, do whatever that needs to be done. Make sure you're not too thirsty or too hungry, and then maybe at a certain point in the day, whether you feel like it or not, don't force yourself if you don't want to. Maybe do a little bit of exercise if you want. Press ups, also known as push ups. Squats, very effective for the shoulders, the arms, the triceps. If you do a close grip push up, a wide grip push up is more for the shoulders. It tightens the chest a lot, right? I mean, it's helped me because, you know, if you go over a speed bump, and I've not, well, why would we be going over a speed bump? I don't know. But like if I was walking, or if I jumped up and down or something and I wasn't doing exercising, my chest wobbles, or it would wobble, and you know, things have gone to shit there. Oh my God, I just hit the lampshade above me. Fuck me. But if you do push-ups, press-ups, right, that strengthens the chest and it works for me. But really, you just don't force yourself. You just do a couple of them, you know, even if you did like 5 every day, that's much more effective than if you did 20 and then never did it again, you know what I'm saying? But basically, Cleo, just wake up, do what needs to be done or what you can do or what you feel like doing, and then look into a mirror if there is one present, and then just remind yourself that you are a great person. And like with your consistency on YouTube, whilst being positive and sharing your own thoughts and not causing any trouble and just being supportive, you just highlight that in yourself whilst looking in the mirror. And then if you have to seek validation, I'm only joking, from the Care Bears, you can ask them as well, and I'm sure they'll say the same thing, that you're a good person. And then you do whatever, and then before you go to bed, you look in the mirror again, preferably if you've got the light turned on. Don't try and do any dark rituals or anything, and then just remind yourself you're a good person again, and then go to sleep. Really high end, isn't it? But yeah, hope that helps, Cleo. So I think that rounds that up. Okay, so as I said, that just about rounds that up. I really don't know how long this video is because I've not tracked the time. There's been internet problems, not working, internet fucked, so I don't know if I'm late to the party or not. I don't know if this video is coming out tonight or the day after, which would be a Friday, okay? If it is on a Friday, not much I can do about it. If humans complain, whinge and whine and say, oh, this is old news, oh, it's too late. And it's like, do you know what? Shove a plum in your mouth and learn some reasoning ability, okay? I have owls on me. That's different. So, I think with that all wrapped up for now, literally, like how I am wrapped up. Oh my God, how many owls on me? That's a lot. Anyway, I think we should leave it there for now because we don't want to go too deep, even though we may have already have. And we'll just see how things happen next. This is what I mean. Don't want to go too far. Want to try and dissect each bit by bit, because if not, you know, you might end up losing your way, and we don't want to get lost, do we? I don't want to have to, you know, walk the desolate, vast desert of lost thoughts to just get the belt and lasso someone back. No, don't get lost. Hold my hand. Anyway, I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Thanks for watching, and good night for now.